My beloved brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. My question for you today is, what is Eid Al Adha all about? This celebratory day of sacrifice. And it comes as the final day of the first 10 days of Dhul Hijjah, and it comes immediately after the day of Arafah, the great day of Hajj. And if you notice in Islam, Eid always comes immediately after great seasons of worship, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blesses us with opportunities of great reward and opportunities for forgiveness. So we should be grateful for this. The story of this day originates from the story of Ibrahim alayhi salam, and I want to share a great lesson from this story. But let's take a moment and go over the story. Ibrahim alayhi salam was longing for a son for many, many years. Until upwards of 80 years old, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed him with a son. And He tells us in the Quran, وَبَشَّرْنَاهُ بِغُلَامٍ حَلِيمٍ, and we gave him the good news of a forbearing son. And finally, Ibrahim had the son he was longing for. His son grew up with him. His son got to the age of being able to go out, being able to work. He started to form an attachment with his father, a connection. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, فَلَمَّا بَلَغَ مَعَهُ السَّعْيِ, and when he got to that age where he was working and going out with his son, Ibrahim alayhi salam saw a vision. He saw a dream, and the dreams of prophets are truth. The dreams of prophets are revelation. And he informed his son of this vision. قال يا بني إني أرى في المنام أني أذبحك فانظر ماذا ترى. He says to his son, I have seen a vision, I have seen in my dream that I am slaughtering you. And his son responds. His son responds with such submission, such an example for us. He tells his father, قال يا أبت افعل ما تؤمر ستجدني إن شاء الله من الصابرين. He says to his father, Oh my father, do as you've been commanded. Do as you've been ordered by your Lord, and you will find me, God willing, from the patient ones. This was a great test. It wasn't about slaughtering his son, but it was for Ibrahim and his son to demonstrate to us how to submit, how to truly surrender to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah tells us, فَلَمَّا أَسْلَمَا وَتَلَّهُ لِلْجَبِينِ. He says, and when they submitted to the will of Allah and they were serious, Ibrahim alayhi salam laid out his son. He laid him face down. He brought out the knife, ready to start slaughtering him. And Ibrahim was called out. وَنَادَيْنَاهُ أَن يَا إِبْرَاهِيمُ, and we called out to Ibrahim, قَدْ صَدَّقْتَ الرُّؤْيَا, and you have fulfilled the vision. إِنَّا كَذَلِكَ نَجْزِي الْمُحْسِنِينَ. So when they submitted and fulfilled the vision, we know the end of the story. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala replaces his son with a great ram for sacrifice. And this is the most important lesson that we take, how to submit to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commands us. He forbids us. He gives us prohibitions. Our job is to submit. Our job is to comply and fulfill the true meaning of Islam, which is submission, which is to be compliant, which is to surrender to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.